أهلا بيكم. النهاردة عايزة أقدم لكم ضيفة خاصة جدا، فريدريكا مايير، اللي هي مديرة صندوق الامم المتحدة للسكان، وده واحدة من أكبر هيئات الامم المتحدة في مصر اللي مهتمة بينا احنا السكان. هي عندها خبرة عظيمة جدا، تشتغل مع صندوق الامم المتحدة للسكان من حوالي 25 سنة في بلاد كتيرة جدا، الهند وباكستان وبنجلاديش وبلاد يعني متعددة، وعندها خبرة كبيرة في الموضوع. عشان كده قلت فرصة النهاردة نقابلها نتعرف عليها، وكمان نفهم أكتر موضوع استراتيجية السكان وقضية السكان، وهل إحنا كتير قوي زي ما بيقعدوا يقولوا لنا، ولا البني آدمين اللي إحنا بنخلفهم دول قيمة مضافة ممكن نستفيد منها. فريدريكا, welcome in our show.
شكراً.
It's an honor. Oh, it's an honor to be with us. I would like to invest the time to understand more about the population issue. Usually, we translate it as reproductive health. But population issue, we understood from the Population Council in Egypt, has been done a few weeks ago. It's wider than this. Could you tell us what is the population issue and if we have challenges in Egypt?
Well, thank you very much. Thank you for coming and interviewing. So population issues, it's about people. I mean, what we sometimes forget, and that's why in 1994, we had in Egypt the ICPD, which is the International Conference on Population and Development. And we know if you put people's issues together, you get population trends. For example, a population issue is migration. So when one person moves from one country to the other, if many people do that, you have a population trend, which is called migration. So population is about many people together, and then you see certain trends in the society.
Why here we focus on reproductive health?
Because reproductive health is everything about childbearing of babies. So of course the population issue starts with reproductive health. So what we focus on is women and men's reproductive health, because babies are born by couples. It's not only a woman who's producing baby, but you need a man and a woman to get a baby. So reproductive health is everything for a woman to know about family planning, so that she can make an informed choice on when she wants to have a baby and how many babies she wants to have. And of course, how many babies she wants to have is a decision she needs to take together with her husband.
I understood from your work, you work a lot with youth and you have a lots of youth activity. Could you tell us about UNFPA in general and your program related to youth?
Yeah. So why UNFPA works a lot on with young people? It's not only on young people, but also very important with young people. Because in Egypt, 62% of the population are below the age of 29. And we know that you have to start from a young age onwards to learn, for example, girls and boys, that it's not good to marry before the age of 18. It's a legal age, but it's also not healthy for your whole development. It's not healthy for your future. So we need to prepare young people to first finish their education and then think about marriage. Because for women, if they marry too young, they have to interrupt their education, so their chances to get into the labor market are getting very low because you have no education. Therefore, first finish your education and then think about marriage and then think about child marrying. And therefore in Egypt and also in many other countries, we have a program. Here we have a program which is called Noura. Mm-hmm. And I don't know whether you know Noura, but
I know Noura, and I
this
got
is
the
Noura.
Toy. Yes, I got the toy from National Council for Women Rights.
Yes, and so Noura is really the flagship of the government program. It's really championed by Dr. Maya Moussi, and it's under the patronage of the First Lady, Madame Entisar Sisi, and it's at the center of the population program, because what we believe, these girls, all the Nouras, so we say all the girls in Egypt are the Nouras.
Yes.
They are really, they are building their health assets. So they learn everything about their body, etc. Because in adolescenthood, your body is changing a lot.
Definitely.
So you need to learn what's all going to happen. It's about economic assets, so how to make savings, how to open a bank account. And it's also about social assets. So the girls come together in a group where they can chat about their problems and how to overcome them, but also how to negotiate with their father, for example, to go out of the house.
Yeah.
Because what we try to do is also working on social norms. And social norms, one of the social norms is, for example, when girls have become an adolescent, that they should not leave the house anymore.
Yes, and sometimes they drop from school for this reason.
For this reason.
Yes.
So therefore we work a lot on the social norms which are hampering girls to move forward. I mean, social norms, we have social norms in each society. There are good social norms, there are bad social norms. And also in my society, each society has its own social norms.
In our society, we understand UN agencies in general work in a level of policies and such a big concepts and issue. You talk about fields and working with youth, and you do by yourself or you have partners?
Well, we partner a lot with the government. As I said, this NURA program is with the NCW, and the youth program is with Ministry of Youth and Sports. So it's in all the youth and sports centers throughout the country. We work with them. We also work with some NGOs who are also building, because it's very technical, no, to make a theater play. So you need some very specialized organizations who can do that. And they work with the Ministry of Youth and Sports. And of course, UNFPA also works quite a lot on policy level. A few weeks ago, we had this very high-level population conference here in Egypt.
Yeah.
And there we work with the National Population Council. And so there, UNFPA works a lot on policy level, advising the government what would be the right policies, how can we implement those, and what can we do on all these different levels. So we work many government institutes, and UNFPA, some work we do in the field as well. But if you don't know the field realities, you cannot make policies. So we have to go to the field and then build it back.
That's true. I cannot miss a chance we are together without asking you about your perspective related to future of population in Egypt. What's the challenges we have and how to overcome these challenges?
Well, the challenge is what you have and what also the president, how can we come to a balanced population growth? And I must say Egypt is on the right way because population growth has gone down.
Good.
And women and men are more informed about how they can make their choices and what is needed for the choices. So we work on what we call the demand side. And the demand side is asking for contraceptives and so on. And then on the supply side, making sure the women and men have the contraceptives. So the challenge is, how can we make sure that each woman who wants to have a contraceptive can have a contraceptive? Because what we call the unmet need for family planning is a woman who wants to have family planning but can't get it is around 17%. So that's
too much.
That's 1 in 5 nearly.
Yes.
That's too much. So we really have to make sure in order to work on population issues, that every woman have access to family planning and let every woman be able to negotiate with her husband that she wants only 2 children or 3 children, whatever they decide.
But also you have a lot of programs with men as well.
We also have programs with men because as I started this, babies are not made in isolation.
Yes.
yes. And
it is not only responsibility of women.
Absolutely not.
Yeah,
No. So we need to educate the man as well, because there's also a social norm here in Egypt and also in many other countries, by the way, which is called boy preference.
Yeah.
And maybe you've heard about it, but a woman is heightening her value if she has a baby boy. So some women have to continue childbearing until she has a baby boy.
Yes.
And that's really very hard for the women, because what is the difference between a girl and a boy? So what we really work on is equal value of boys and girls, and it shouldn't make any difference whether you're having a baby boy or a baby girl. And we should stop having this whole preference for boys. So what I also want to say about social norms, at the moment there is a television series which is called Warak El Toot, berry leaves. Warak El Toot, berry leaves in English. And that talks a lot about social norms. It talks about having big families, it talks about boy preference, all the different norms. So the idea about Warak El Toot is really to showcase what are the negative social norms and how can we talk about it in the community. There's a website related to it. There are many elements related to it to get the conversation started. Is this what we want? And coming back on this whole, where UNFPA works a lot on population issues and policies and so on. So for example, a very important program which is now under development is with midwives. And a lot of these programs, UNFPA get a finance from the European Commission. So over the last 5 years, European Commission was a huge donor for supporting Egypt and supporting UNFPA to develop all this kind of programs. So that's important that we are enabled and have the finances to work with the government on having the best population strategy in place.
Good. I'm happy that UNFPA and UN in general to give more attention for media and awareness, and you making a soap opera, which is very important as a changing attitude tool. It is not only awareness tool.
That's true, yeah. And it's not that UNFPA wants to change. It's we want to work with the societies, and that's why we call it edutainment. It's education and entertainment, because we know when people are laughing, smiling, being happy, they learn very much more than when I say, you have to do this.
That's true. Friedrica, I know you are very busy, and I really appreciate your time with us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. It was a pleasure speaking to you.
My pleasure.